Good morning, everyone. If you have not already done so, let's bow down to Shri Mataji, raise our Kundalini and put on a bandhan before we begin our meditation this morning. Let us begin with Mother's three great mantras. Now let us listen to this bhajan Sanskrit song 16, Ganesh Ganesha, as we pay respect to Shri Ganesha, who stands behind Shri Mataji, our Holy Mother. Yesterday I was listening to a talk where Shri Mataji talked to new people in London, and it's entitled "The Last Judgment is Here Now, and the Kundalini is going to judge you." In the first part, in the introduction, so C.P. Srivastava does the introduction before Shri Mataji talks, before giving realization. Now I thought I would play this little introduction, which is 12 minutes long, followed by Shri Mataji's talk, which is about 30 minutes long. So it's going to be very tight this morning, but let's see how we go.
Dr. Spiro, Mr. Gregoire, distinguished ladies and gentlemen, dear Sahajogis and Sahajoginis. It's a very great honor for me to be allowed to say a few words on this occasion. And I'm profoundly grateful for the very kind words in which I've been introduced to this very distinguished gathering. I was in India when my wife one day came to me and said she wanted to do some outdoor spiritual activity. I was a civil servant, and you know civil servants are rule-bound, hide-bound. They don't look beyond their rules and regulations. So I said, my dear, we have 2 daughters. They have to be educated. Spirituality can wait, but my daughters must be educated, must be brought up, must be married. Then you can do what you like. And like a good wife, very loving wife, she accepted that. I really didn't know what I was doing. I was stopping a movement which has world significance. But I am a limited person. She is unlimited. Well, then the daughters got married and she entered the spiritual world. She kept her word. And very soon thereafter we came to the United Kingdom. And I joined as the Secretary General of the International Maritime Organization, began to live here. And when I went to UN meetings, when I attended meetings of my own assembly, I found that the world was not at peace within itself. You recall, ladies and gentlemen, that after the war there was a great deal of idealism. There was a cry around the world that there should be no more war, that peace should descend on earth, that there should be goodwill among men and women. And that idealism led to the establishment of the United Nations system. And that system has been working. It works in respect of peace and war. It works in respect of food, health, maritime affairs. And I had the honor of being the Secretary General of the organization, which is headquartered in London, dealing with maritime affairs. And I would tell you that the United Nations system has succeeded to a considerable extent in the attainment of its objectives, but it has not succeeded fully. In fact, it has not succeeded to the extent that it could have or it should have. And what was the reason? I found in the various assemblies which I attended, my own assembly here, where government representatives gathered, that there was a desire to think in terms of north versus south, east versus west. There was no real appreciation of the fact that UN can succeed only on the basis of the concept of one human family one world. And therefore, all the time argument, A versus B, C versus D, but not the desire from heart that we should live together, we should work together. And I found that the most fundamental problem facing the United Nations system and facing humanity is this particular fact, that the human being has not yet risen to the level of the achievements of science. Science is going ahead. It's taking the world towards development and ultimately towards destruction. And the human being is the only person who can control it, who can control that movement and save us from destruction. But we have not been succeeding in that direction. You look at newspapers, look at the news from Yugoslavia. I cry because I have been to Yugoslavia. They're wonderful people. They're killing each other. Why is this happening? It is happening because there has not been that human evolution. And I regret to have to tell you that within the United Nations system there is no concept of the evolution of mankind, of humankind. And that is where the UN system is failing. That's why the Rio summit is not as successful as it might have been. That is why we have these skirmishes around the world. And that is the problem which needs to be attended to. And that is the problem which this lady sitting here has been trying to attend for the last 2 decades. But I'll tell you something about, very briefly, about my own introduction to Sahaja Yoga. I'm a civil servant, and civil servants are trained not to believe anything unless it has been proved to the contrary. So I was a skeptic. Of course, she's my wife. I couldn't tell her that I was a skeptic, but I was. And one day, when we were living here in Oxted in Surrey, one evening I returned, rather late, from my office and found a young gentleman sitting in my drawing room, a young boy, maybe 24 years of age, and I didn't know who he was. And I found that he was wearing my clothes. And I said, am I really seeing something or is it some mirage? No, he was there. He looked at me almost asking who I was. But I receded discreetly, came to my wife and said, well, what is this? And she explained to me, she said, well, you know, I was addressing a group of young people and this boy was really bad. He's suffering from jaundice, liver problem, he's dying. And I just couldn't leave him there, so I brought him home. And he had just had a bath, he didn't have any clothes, so I'm sorry, I gave him your clothes. I said, okay, fine, that's all right. And that was my introduction to Sahaja Yoga. Well, but the important thing is that that young gentleman stayed at our place, and I'm delighted that it happened, for about maybe a month or 2. The treatment was Sahaja Yoga. He improved. He blossomed into a beautiful flower. And after 2 months, he recovered fully and went back to his mother and father in Australia. He was an Australian. Now can you imagine, ladies and gentlemen, what a great pleasure it would have been for the parents of that young man to receive their son back. That was the beginning of the impact of Sahaja Yoga on me. I said, perhaps I am wrong, maybe my skepticism is wrong, but I said, no, one swallow does not make a summer. I still reserve my judgment. And so it went on. And ultimately, from a group of 4 to 5 to 10 to 20 to hundreds and thousands. But what I want to tell you is this, that the problem of the world can be resolved only by a better human being. And I have seen Sahaja Yogis now in India, in the United Kingdom, in France, in Switzerland, in Italy, in Germany, in America. And it is one of the most elevating sights to see a gathering of Sahaja Yogis. There is purity on their face. There is divinity on their face. It's a total transformation. A human being has in him Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde. In Sahaja Yogis, Mr. Hyde disappears. There's only Dr. Jekyll. In my own way, I tried my level best to transform at least one human being in the organization that I was serving. I influenced them. They became better workers, but not better human beings. I couldn't do that. I don't have that divine spirit in me to influence others. But there is someone who has. And that divine spark has been generated now in these hundreds and thousands of Sahajogis. And how beautiful, how pure they are. They live together as one family. They share their joys. They have no sorrows. They are wonderful human beings. And I am personally greatly indebted to them. Because my concept of the world is one world, one human family, living together without regard to race, caste, creed, community. And that can be brought about only by human transformation. And that transformation is being brought about from a few to the many. And I'm privileged and honored and delighted to have the opportunity of witnessing this lovely scene here in Royal Albert Hall in the United Kingdom. This is a great country, and this movement can take over this country. The world will benefit from that. So, ladies and gentlemen, this is what I want to tell you about Sahaja Yoga. I feel that every Sahaja Yogi is a miracle, because transforming a human being is not a human activity, it's a divine activity. It's a miracle. Every single human being. And to me, a gathering of Sahaja Yogis is a gathering of angels. Purity, goodness, chastity, kindness, everything that you can think of. And the source of that is sitting here. Thank you very much.
I bow to all the seekers of truth. I have already told you that truth is what it is. We cannot change it. We cannot conceptualize it. With this human perspective, we cannot know it. If this is the case, then we have to understand that in our evolutionary process, there's something more has to happen. Because as we see, take case of religions. You may be a Christian, Hindu, Muslim, Sikh, anyone. You can be branded as anything when you are born into any family. But you are capable of doing any sin. Any sin can be committed. There's nothing to debar you. So as if this religion that we are proclaiming is outside, is not within us, it's not innate. Yesterday I told you about science, same thing, that it is amoral. It does not relate to your spirit, to your soul. It does not give you any human dimension. For science, you are not a human being, you are rubber. Same with the modern psychology. You are not a human being, but you are a sex point. With the medical science, as I told you yesterday, with the advent of this theory of DNA, they will just tell you what is your origin, but they cannot tell you what is your future. And the future is so great, which we have to know. We don't have to go to our past. There's a gentleman, a Muslim gentleman, I'm happy, he asked me a very nice question. about Imam Hussain Sahab, the son of Ali. The mother was Fatima Bi. He was killed in the war, where they were absolutely correct. What they said was correct, no doubt. And both the brothers were killed. And he said, we have to fight our enemies. It was all right for them to know who was their enemy, because they were realized souls. We are not. We do not know who are our enemies. These are age-old things also. We need not carry it on. If you really become a realized soul, then what happens? You get the awareness, a new dimension, which is called as collective consciousness, meaning you become part and parcel of the whole. The microcosm becomes the macrocosm. It happens. It's not a question of just giving a big lecture. It actualizes. Then who is the other? When the light of the Spirit comes into your attention, then you can feel it on your fingertips, the all-pervading power, which tells you what's wrong with you, that is self-knowledge. Also, it tells you what's wrong with others. Because who is the other? You can feel everyone on your fingertips. Especially Hazrat Muhammad Sahab has said one thing. He said at the time of Qiyamah, this is the time of Qiyamah, resurrection time, your hands will speak. But where are the Muslims? What are they doing? For 6, Nanak Sahib has said that you have to be khalis. Khalis means pure. You have to be pure people. Where are the pure ones? Here, at least in England, I find all of them drink more than any English one can drink. Then about the Hindus, it is said very clearly that in everybody's heart resides the Spirit. Then how can there be a caste system? If everybody has the same Spirit reflected in them, how can there be a caste system? What about Christians? Christ has said, thou shalt not have adulterous eyes. The essence of all the Christian nations I have seen is this, to see and to be seen. Just the opposite what Christ has said. To see every woman, see every man with lust and greed. And make yourself in such a manner that others should see you with the same. I mean, imagine this is what they are doing in the name of Christ. So everywhere what we find, that in the case of religion also, not only that it is money oriented, that it is power oriented, also escapes have been found out, compromises have been found out, and people justify it. It is not the book which is important. It is not important what is written in the book, but what is important is what it has given you. Like supposing I have a headache and a doctor gives me a prescription that you go and take some, say, paracetamol. And I go on reading, I take paracetamol, you take paracetamol. Will I be alright? Islam is a very great religion, no doubt about it. And many intellectuals also can talk big about it. Same about Christianity, same about any other religion that you tell me. Mahavira's religion, Jainism, Buddhism, all of them. And they all tried their level best to bring truth to us. But we have made a farce out of it, all of us. And we are living with that farce, and then we are fighting. But now the time has come, the Qiyamah time has come, the resurrection time has come. The last judgment is here now. And the Kundalini is going to judge. It said that your hands will speak and they will give witness against you. Clearly, you see that. So let us face up to it. Where have we gone wrong? We have to seek our spirit. In seeking the spirit also, then we had lots of people, fake people, who came here making money. Because we are used to all religions where people make money, we never even doubted that how can they take money? God doesn't understand money. He doesn't understand your banks. He doesn't know all these things that we do. It's our headache. Alright, you can pay for, say, for this hall you can pay. But you cannot pay for self-realization. You cannot. You cannot pay to ascend. How much did we pay to become human beings? To inherit this earth? But when you become a realized soul, then you become an universal being. Because the spirit is the universal being within you. Innately we are built in that way. God has made us like that. We are special people. He has made it with all these divine qualities. They are all within us, dormant. We have also suppressed them. The surroundings have, the cultures have, we can say, so many intellectuals like Freud and all those people. Then there are other people who are just trying to make money and producing some theories. And we believe them. Anything black and white we want to believe. Anything black and white. That is how we are conditioned. Anything on the television we want to believe. It's not true. Everything is not the truth. Now how will you know it is truth or not? First of all, we must achieve that state where we know the absolute truth. If we know the absolute truth, how can we fight? If we know, everybody knows this is the absolute truth. Now you see these flowers here, alright. Now you see them, they are flowers. Everybody sees them as flowers. Nobody is going to fight that they are not flowers. So those who find the truth cannot fight because they see the same thing, they know the same thing. How can there be arguments? And all of you have got this potential within you. Every one of you have got it. But either you are sticking on to some sort of a religious idea, which is not religious. Some sort of a cult, some sort of a sect, and some sort of a... I think all of them are sects and nothing else. We have achieved nothing out of this farcical life. And nobody wants to get out of it. So, it is important for us to understand what is the aim of our life. Why are we here? Especially in these modern times. You all have the right to get your self-realization, by which all your innate qualities will rise. Now they have talked about Rio. The basic problem is they are not innately compassionate. If you are innately compassionate, you will do it. You will achieve it. There's no hypocrisy about it. Because you are innately involved. All the saints were innately compassionate people. And why not you all become saints? The fun that you are having is so transitory. The things that you enjoy sometimes are so stupid. Some things idiotic also. Like this lady, Elizabeth Taylor, getting married, and there were parachuters and 3,000 people there to watch her going somewhere. Can you imagine? Solely idiots can do that. Can't understand. And people came from all over America just to see her. No sense of proportion, no sense of auspiciousness, no sense of holiness. But all of them are existing within us. They are all there. Nothing is lost, nothing is destroyed, because these are eternal qualities, they cannot be lost. Your innocence is absolutely intact, believe me. All these powers are there, just your Kundalini has to be awakened, that's all. This power, when it is enlightened, or when it is awakened, it enlightens all these beautiful things with which you are built. With all the fragrance of your glory, just starts manifesting so beautifully. I have seen people overnight change. I have seen. As my husband has told you, he couldn't believe me. Also always used to say that you are a saint, you are an awliya, but you can't make others. And now he's surprised. I'm not doing anything, I really tell you. This way they might say something. But it's something like a light, which is a candle, which is enlightened. Can enlighten another light? All these Sahajogis who are sitting here, those who are dressed up just like you, who talk like you, they are just like normal human beings. They all can raise your Kundalini. I am not necessary. But see how humble they are. I have seen these fake gurus. They don't know a word about Kundalini, they don't know anything about divinity. They only know about how to make money and befool people. And how bombastic they are. They talk so big, no love, no compassion. So all these qualities which are dormant, which are already placed within you. Human beings were specially created by God. Are special people. And this speciality has to be just manifested. If it is manifested, you will be amazed. But first of all, you should get rid of your conditionings. You belong to this organization, that organization. They have organizations here that have, say, 4 put on the right side or a left side. I mean, we have a tendency to club together. But we club together under artificial ideas and artificial circumstances. In Sahaja Yoga, you do not club together. You are aware that you are part and parcel of the whole. Like this finger, if it is hurt, the whole body is bothered about this little finger. Such concern. In that concern, there is no hypocrisy. There is no obligation. There is in no way you will find people are jealous. Supposing somebody knows better, I have not seen Sahajogis getting jealous of that person, but go and ask, how do you do it? How do you manage it? Let's know. And the other person, the one who knows, will say, all right, this is how it. Nobody keeps secret. There's no secret in Sahaja. There's no secret knowledge. You know about yourself, self-knowledge. You know about others. This is the minimum. Then you know what are these negative forces are. I was told that starting a parapsychology institution here, they should be careful. There was one parapsychology organization I saw in San Diego in the year 1972, and they wanted me to address them. I frankly told them, don't indulge into all these nonsensical things, you'll be in trouble. And they were very angry, you see, they said that you were our guest, you should not have said that. I said, I didn't even take tea from you, I didn't even charge you money for anything, you did make money out of me. How I was your guest. But I had to tell you the truth. And you will be surprised, the founder of that became mad. The lady, his wife, such a nice person she was, she got a horrible disease. She died in Australia, and all the members were suffering from terrible mental problems. What are these negative forces that are acting? You will know about them in Sahaja, exactly what it is. And you can find out also who has got these negative forces. Also you will know how to throw them away and work it out. Just by saying there are no negative forces, we are living in darkness then. There are. Then also there are forces which compel us to do things. As I told you yesterday, like a 6-inch skirt or an 8-inch skirt. We are not aware that these forces are trying to push us down because they have money, they can advertise better, and our children also. Our children, when they say television, they must immediately ask for this toy or that toy, we want this. They are headaches. All the time they start asking why. Now what's the solution? Very simple solution is, you ask your child, what question you asked me yesterday, you write it down. And what answer I gave you, write it down. Then they are all right. So all this aggressiveness that has come into our character, somehow or other, is another very, very destructive force which is acting in us, which has a word I like. There was a lady who was suffering from cancer, and her husband was my professor in my medical college. I used to treat her. She was all right with Sahaja, but she said, I like my sherry. I don't know what sherry is. I like my whiskey. But you are not well. I like, It's like I like Satan. All right, have it. This is how these forces are hidden forces which act upon us. And we accept it. We think it's fun. It is not. These are destructive. They destroy you, they will destroy your progeny. This is the destruction standing on the just outside, which can grab you any time. It's a big shock we are waiting for. And as you know, there have been prophecies about America, about the Western people. What is going to happen to them if they go about like this? While they are the cream. And that's the concern. It's not the number of surgeries that matters with me. I know if I go to Russia or to India, this whole hall will be full. Or it must be at least thrice more than that. You can't have a program in India like this. But I know India we can manage in no time. What about the people who are so much in need of it? And they are seekers. Indians are not such seekers as you are. You are real seekers. I know you are seekers. Many people took drugs because they were seeking. You are seeking your spirit, know that. And with that, so many things happen. First of all, your attention becomes enlightened. With the attention being enlightened, you put your attention anywhere, it works, it acts. A person who is a realized soul of a very steady station, I should say, steady stage, even one glance of such a person can create benevolence for others. The eyes become pure. In Sahaja, we never have this problem, somebody's wife running away with somebody, somebody's husband running with somebody, all the time living on shoestrings, nothing of the kind. You'll be surprised in this country where there is so much of unemployment. It's hard to find a Sahaja who has no job. Because we must know God is Almighty. You are entering into His kingdom. There is no dearth of anything. It is, of course, a self-contentment is there, no doubt. But also divine discretion. One knows how far to go, how far not to go. Where is the danger, where is not the danger. People are there who say there is no God. All right, if after realization, you just put your hands and ask the question simple. Is there God? The cool breeze will start blowing you completely. Now you may say that. How can you say that this is the truth? Because supposing you get a cancer patient, put your hands towards that, all your hands will start burning. Especially where he has cancer, that finger will burn much more. You bring a madman, immediately you will feel that he is mad. Bring a cheat, you can make it out. He may be dressed well, he may be wearing a saffron colored clothes, you will know immediately that he is a cheat. Because you know the absolute truth. This attention, when it becomes enlightened, it can feel the centers of others. This is what happened to the disciples of Christ when they had their blessings from the Holy Ghost and they become realized souls. They didn't speak some language which was like Latin or Greek, but they spoke the language of chakras, of the centers. That's what the Sahaja Yogis also speak. You are not considered as to what your position is in life, what is your dress and how you live in, whether you are in Belgravia or in somewhere else. You are not judged by that. You are judged by your centers. And you can judge yourself. That's the best part of it. Like somebody came this morning and said to me, "Mother, please remove my agya. It's horrible, I have a headache." What does that mean? The ego has gone into my head. Nobody will say I've got ego in my head. Nobody will say. But Sahaja Yogi will say definitely because it will hurt him. "Mother, please remove this, it's too much." Another will say, "Mother, can you stop my thinking?" You can. You get that empty mind, thoughtless awareness, which is described by Buddha as empty mind. Everybody has described about it. When the Kundalini rises, the thoughts become elongated and there's a little space in between where you stand and here you become thoughtless. See this hall. If you start thinking about it, you will go mad because it's so beautiful. There's nothing to think but just to enjoy without any thought, just to enjoy. In complete silence, the joy that created this hall just starts pouring on you. That joy, that abstract thing, which an artist, the architect, the builders who have put into it, starts flowing through and absolutely relaxes. All these new diseases of tensions and all that, they disappear. Because everything is taken over by the divine power. It is much, much more, but you won't believe if I tell you. So it's better that you experience it and know what greatness lies within you, how great you are, what you have. Achieve it. But one has to have sincerity about it. It's very important. It should not be just one guru's lecture you have come and another. It's not like guru shopping. If you are honest to yourself and if you really care for yourself and if you have self-esteem, you must really find out all the beautiful properties you have, all the powers you have, and all the opportunities of enjoying every moment of your life. It is important, of course, we all must have self-realization. There's no end to lectures. I don't know how many thousands lectures I've given, only in English language. But it is still outside. So I think we should not so much worry about understanding Sahaja Yoga, but imbibing it. I assure you, you are all capable of getting your self-realization. Absolutely. And why not? Why not have it? So as I promised yesterday, today we'll have the session of realization.
We'll leave that there now and have a short meditation. I'll put a bhajan on in the background and you can turn the volume down if you wish to. Jai Shri Mataji.
शक्ति माता जी तेरे चरणों में आया हूँ मैं शाम सवेरे गुण तेरे गाऊं तेरा ही जाया हूँ मैं श्री माँ तेरा ही जाया हूँ मैं शक्ति सहस्रा विराजे हाथों में वीणा मुकुट सर पे साजे शक्ति माता जी तेरे चरणों में आया हूँ मैं शाम सवेरे गुण तेरे गाऊं तेरा ही जाया हूँ मैं श्री माँ तेरा ही जाया हूँ मैं श्री माँ तेरा ही जाया हूँ मैं
Thank you for joining in this morning. Let us all bow down to Shri Mataji, raise our kundalini and put on a bandhan. Have a wonderful day ahead. Jai Shri Mataji.